Oh. It's 91%. I'm waiting to get to 100% of it be.
Yeah. Just installing the actual app now.
But I got them up here.
Yeah. It's just a little easier here, so you don't have to hold your phone and stuff.
Stephen,
Yes, sir.
if I close out my Outlook, which I minimize to the bottom of the screen, will my Zoom stay on?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with this thing, man. You get it up there, you get it good.
Enter
Your name, enter your name in there.
password. Enter your name and password.
Go ahead, put it on there.
Let me sit in that chair.
Okay. I can still see him on this.
Coach,
Yeah,
I can see you, man.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to, I'm on my phone, man. I'm having a problem with my computer, so I'm on my phone.
Yeah, but you good, man. You coming in good.
All right. There you go. Now. There you go.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is 7:01. Let's see, I think everyone is here. So welcome to our town board meeting. I know that I see some names there. Kimberly, Heath, Sarah, Steve Harrell, myself, Phyllis, Cindy, our attorney, Laura Todd, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Mewburn. Commissioner Davis got two pictures here. Bonnie is there. Stephen Smith, Mallory, Commissioner Langley, Chief Donna Williams, great librarian Nicole Brown. Who's the number? It's got 4815817. Is that you, Chief? That's Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes, sir. That's me.
And so I think that's everyone's on site, right, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. That's everybody, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right. So we call the meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Tripp,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mewburn,
Yeah.
Commissioner Davis,
Yeah.
Commissioner Ross,
Here.
Commissioner Goff,
Here.
Commissioner Langley.
So everyone's here. So glad to have everyone here today. Appreciate everyone to be here. We do have protocol for public comments. If you want to comment, you're welcome to do so when we get that part. We give you about 3 minutes to make comments, and you just jump in and state your name and address when we get that point. At this time, we will do the invocation. If you would bow with me, we'll go in prayer. So Lord, we're going to pray today, giving thanks for the blessings that you have given our community and each one of us. We're going to pray that you give us wisdom and guidance as we make decisions to move this town forward. We're going to pray and ask that you be with Wayne Harris's family, who just recently passed away. We give, they struggling, I'm sure, because it's a sudden death. But we ask that you be with them, touch them in a special way. We're so grateful that Wayne came in our presence. He brought so much to our community, so we're so grateful that. We ask to be with those in our community who may be struggling, who may have had a difficult time with the virus or some other illness or some mental decisions they're going to have to make, or where they may be walking in life that they feel uncomfortable and need your guidance, we ask that you reach out and touch them in that special way. We give thanks for all you do and ask you to bless us, and as you always do, say thank you for that. In Jesus' name, pray. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, it will be the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would join me, goes I pledge allegiance to the flag
Pleasure.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Manager, next item is approval of the agenda. Do you have any additional subtraction that we need to talk about?
Yes, sir. We need to add under action items C, which is consideration of speed humps on Garris Street. And also we need to amend the closed session to include a personnel matter. And Scott will read that passage when we get there, but we don't need to read it now, do we, Scott? Okay. So just those two items, Mr. Mayor.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem,
Second.
second by Commissioner Langley. In discussion. Vote on the motion. All in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. At this time, there is.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. Could I real quick here? Folks on the screen tonight is Bonnie Bray. Bonnie, wave your hand. Bonnie is our interim finance director. I sent you all some information. She's the retired finance director for the town of Southport, and she started with us last Tuesday. She works Tuesday through Thursday, pretty much the same way we did with Lisa Smith 3 years ago. Bonnie brings 17 years as chief finance officer to this interim position, and we're glad to have her on board.
Thanks.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
aboard, Bonnie. Glad to have you. We look forward to working with you.
Same.
Can't say anything about our former finance director, so I'll just be quiet. I'll assure you that before you leave, you'll have some gray hairs on his behalf.
Great. Thanks for the opportunity. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. If anything we do, let us know. So thank you, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir.
At that time, it is public comments. Anyone like to speak may do so. Just state your name and your address. You may do so now. And since there seems there is none, will everybody good?
We're good.
Since there's seen that there is none, we'll continue on. At this time, we have a Chamber of Commerce presentation of plans for Christmastown in Ayden of 2020. Laura Todd, our Chamber Director, is with us, so I'll turn it over to Laura Todd. So, Laura.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. I hope you're all good. I've missed seeing everybody in the community and at meetings. And after we left the Main Street Convention, we left with so much excitement and ideas how to powerfully work to revitalize downtown and our business community. So just know that we miss everybody. Please know that my hours were cut drastically at first. You haven't seen me around, but I am back working 25 hours. And I'm working to move the needle forward in these uncertain times. So tonight I want to talk to you about Christmastown in Ayden. And I've written notes because y'all know I get nervous and call y'all the wrong names, but I'm going to read what I wrote. So as we're all aware, life is not back to normal yet. They say that we have to get used to our new normal, and we miss our normal. When the Collard Festival was canceled, I could see the analytics on the Facebook page. And as of today, there were 128 shares of that announcement. 17,694 people were reached with that post, and 46 comments, which I'm sure a lot of you have read, that most of them were about people just missing life as normal, missing our festivals. So we're just sad. So with the first, the barbecue festival is gone, and now the Collard Festival is gone. And so I'm coming before you about the Christmas festival. People are going to be craving our new normal. And so we're going to want something for our children to do this Christmas. And as parents, we want to provide something special for our children. So our board has been trying to think outside the box of what we can do to make Christmas in town and Ayden happen and socially distant and be safe. So I came before the town manager last week with my idea, and he suggested that I come talk to y'all. So here I am tonight. So we're going to present doing a reverse parade, very similar to what the elementary school, middle school, and high school did at the end of the year, where the floats and the decorations and all stand still, and people will travel through Ayden in their cars so they can socially distance and be safe. So travel with me and vision with me. It's Thursday, December the 3rd, just like the normal date would be, the first Thursday after Thanksgiving. I will work with the 81 homeowners, 3 churches, the shopping center, and all the businesses along 3rd Street, West Avenue, and 2nd Street to decorate their homes and businesses and provide entertainment in front of their stores. I've reached out to Curtis Media Group and the Auburn AV, which I'm sure y'all know is a new business here in Ayden. And I've asked them to help us come up with a way that we can send out a Christmas message. So when they drive into town, I'm envisioning they can turn their radio to a certain channel. The mayor can give a welcoming statement. As the chamber, I would be able to go on there and give a message welcoming them and mentioning our sponsors. And then they'll pay like 30 or 45 minutes of music, and then it would just cycle again. So as they ride through town, they're going to be hearing our message, hearing words from us. I've also reached out to Mosca Design in Raleigh. Y'all know they've done the light that we hang on the poles, and they did the Colleen lights for us. And so we're going to have extra big lights around town. Imagine Santa up on the stage, all decorated so the kids could wave at Santa as they go by. I plan on asking the churches if one of them would do a live nativity. Southern Bank is already excited, and they're working on getting a huge Christmas tree that people stand on and make a human Christmas tree, and work with a singing group to sing carols. I see all the beautiful floats along the side of the street still. And just like last year, the Ayden Housing Authority had a wonderful float that sprayed snow at the kids as it went by. This year, the float would be still, but the families would pass by. I can see potentially 4 Sudan groups, the Dun Clowns and the animated animals in different places in our downtown, entertaining the kids, waving at the kids. Maybe over in the exercise parking lot, one of the groups going around in circles, maybe in front of the fire department, another group going around. The kids love that. I just think it could be a really huge event for our town. I envision them coming off of Highway 11, turning into Ayden on 3rd Street, and riding slowly, starting at BB&T all the way to our downtown, taking a left at the stage or in front of Town Hall, then a left in front of Gwen's, and then going all the way back out to Jolly Road, out to 11. I see the businesses all decorated. If they travel in on the right lane, I see the left lane is where floats would be parked, space between businesses, and along the way to add visual for the kids to look at as they're riding down the road. I'm thinking about doing a contest for the homeowner who has the best decorated house along the path to have a portion of or their entire power bill paid for the month of December, to try to encourage people to really get big on their decorations. Maybe for the business, a credit that we would give toward part of their power bill for the winning business. After the evening is over, a lot of these decorations would stay up, because that night of, people aren't going to be getting out of their cars and stopping to eat dinner, and that, because the traffic won't allow for that. So, but these decorations would stay up all month. The radio, hopefully, message could stay up all month. They could come back to our town throughout the month of December and hear our message, see the lights, and just really enjoy Ayden. Stop at Wendy's, stop at Bum's, stop at all the restaurants to eat. And then maybe even have Santa come out one other night when it's not necessarily the parade night, where he could stand on the stage and the kids could stand on the sidewalk, and we would have a photo opportunity for the kids to have their picture with Santa socially distant. Just an idea. But here's what I'm asking from y'all to make that happen. I need to work with the DOT to tie up those state roads for longer than normal. I'm imagining 4 to 5 hours. And I know that that is very unusual, but these are very unusual times. And so hopefully we can work with DOT. The second thing I'm asking is for funds. I know that with the Collard Festival being canceled and the money had already been designated, I'm asking for that $10,000, and maybe even if y'all were you know, if it could work out, even the barbecue festival's money, because what I want to buy are these great big lights. And y'all know they're not cheap. When y'all did the Colleens, y'all know that those things aren't light, and there will be permanent fixtures the town owns from year to year that we can put out. I realize this may be a one-time thing because hopefully next year we'll have our festivals back. But I'm asking for that. I plan on spending $5,000 to $7,000 of that money on those big lights. I've talked to the guy. He's going to have me a quote hopefully tomorrow, this week, which I can get back to y'all and we can kind of decide what you want to buy. And then $3,000 to $5,000 of it will be sent on the radio transmitters to put our message out there, the contest, and of course, advertising, lots of advertising of Ayden. And then of course I'd want the $3,000 that we normally put for the parade, because those fees for the entertainers like the Sudan groups, or the, if ECU even has a marching band, whatever groups we get to come play, that's still an expense. The third thing I'm asking for is storage. These things will need to be housed somewhere throughout the year. And I also have all the snowmen that we use at that event and some Christmas totes. So I'm asking for some storage space. So I'm finished casting my vision and I'm ready to hear what y'all have to say.
Thank you, Laura. I think it's a great vision, and I really appreciate that. Any board members have any questions to Laura you'd like to ask? So I would say that I like the idea. I think it is different. I think it would be attractive to bring people into town in that mannerism. It's doing something that, according to the environment they're in, is very creative, staying within a safe practice of social distancing and all that that we need to do. I think it's something that, to me, that the citizens will appreciate, because, you know, we had now in this doom and gloom type of environment a little bit, you know, and everyone can't go see sports or can't do this, and they're prohibited what we can do socially, you know, and to a certain degree. And I think this allows that to a certain degree also. But what it allows is give people hope. So that's what, to me, Christmas is about: hope. And then the lights and stuff like that, it's about festivities. And then the goal is to get people come through Ayden, that they'll come back when things get back to normal, which it will, and then realize the town we are and socialize. That said, the items that you're going to buy can be reused year in, year out. So it's not money spent and not used again. It can continue to be used, and something that we can build on moving forward to add value. It is a lot of money, no doubt. But with that said, you know, we did miss the barbecue festival, and we are going to miss the Collar Festival. And it would give something people to have at the something to have, not only this year but moving forward. And so, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing the lights and seeing how that would turn out, and because I can't visualize it. I visualize what you're saying, but actually see the actual components. I cannot do that. So
I can get you a when I get the quotes, I can have pictures and y'all can all kind of decide which ones you like.
Yeah, you know, don't let me decide. I just want to see it. I mean, that's what my point is. I cannot. But with that said, that is my opinion, and I'm just one of a board. But I think, what's today? We in July. So if you bring some, could we bring something back in August to have a presentation, and we can make a decision in August? Or will that be too late?
I'd like to move forward with it, but I mean, I can get moving on it. I feel like the sooner we get it a plan, I guess what I would do is move forward with it in that manner, reverse parade. And even if we didn't have the addition of the larger lights, we could still do the floats down the side of the road if DOT will approve that. If Sarah and I could move forward with trying to reach out to DOT and get an idea if we could even pull that off.
Mr. Mayor, there's one thing that when Laura mentioned this to me about some of the things she had in mind, Laura, you did say, you mentioned the Collard Festival monies. The barbecue festival money was in last fiscal year, so it didn't get spent, and it went into the general fund balance. So we may still,
girl for trying.
well, we still may have our barbecue festival next May. We may be in a situation where, you know, the pandemic is such that we can have it. So we're really, the only money available is the money for the Collard Festival, which is $10,000.
Yeah, now, that's a good point. And so, but with that said, okay, one, the time frame that needs to be done, I'm sure that stuff has to be made. So I don't know what turnaround time would be once you place order.
He said about 8 weeks.
8 weeks. So we'll be okay if we came in August.
Yes, sir.
I think we just need a budget. I mean, my personal thing is I like the concept. And so what I like to see is a budget and what we're going to purchase, because I think being a good steward of the town's money, that would probably be helpful for us to see that and saying that, you know, and that way we can start planning if that's the direction we want to go or not, and still give you time to order and get what you need in place. That will be my idea, so the board can really look at lights and see what it looks like, and then look at the money, then make that determination. Is any comments from the board members? Anything that you guys?
I just have one thing. What do we, I guess Sarah or the town manager would know, what do we normally have allocated for the timeline to close down 102 for our Christmas parade?
We have what, sir, again?
How much time do we have each year when we do the Christmas parade from the state to close down 102 to have our parade? How much time is allotted?
I'm thinking we start like around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock. And then, so we go from I'm sorry, Sarah, when do we do it?
I would let Laura answer this as far as how long the road is actually closed.
Yeah.
So the parade usually starts at 6:30. The police usually shut down the road about 6:15. And then it will go until close to 8 o'clock. So
Okay.
I'm going to say an hour and a half is about what we normally are shut the road down for. I'm asking that this event go from 5:30 to 8:30, and we need at least 30 minutes beforehand to set up. If I could get an hour, that'd be better. And then 30 minutes in the end to disperse traffic. So.
Okay, no, I was just wondering because I mean, I think it's a great idea, but I mean, I know that they're going to want to know, DOT is going to want to know a timeline. So whether it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours, or so on and so forth. But I think the mayor was right. It's something that we really need to see the actual numbers of what you really need, not a 3 to 5 or whatever. If you need 4,500, so we can actually see, you know, how it's been allocated out.
So I spoke with the AV business today, and they said that when the pandemic hit and all the churches went to doing the where the cars pull up and the preachers broadcast, they bought up all these FM transmitters. So right now FM transmitters are not able to even be bought. And so she was reaching out to her vendor to find out if they have restocked and if we can get some and how much they'll cost and how much they'll work. But I've also reached out to Curtis Media to find out if they have some obscure AM channel that they would let us take over that night for 3 to 4 hours to run our message on and run our Christmas music on. So she's finding that out too. So that'll give me time to come up with that budget.
Great, thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, we will bring back to the board, Laura and I, a budget that's based on and the plan of action for y'all to look at your August meeting.
Okay, that'd be good. I think that'd be the right thing to do.
If I could have one more thing that's not Christmas parade related.
Yeah.
You know, we've been working on this Ayden relocation guide forever, and we have finally got it ready. And we're going to have a launch party. So the Ayden Chamber wants to invite all of y'all on Tuesday, August the 11th. Of course, official invitations will be coming soon. But we're going to be hosting a launch party for this relocation guide at the Ayden Golf and Country Club from 5:30 to 7:30. And this event's going to be sponsored by Southern Bank. So there will be music provided by Alan Vick from Beach Boogie and Blues. And then there will be hors d'oeuvres and a couple of drinks, tickets over there, beer and wine. This will be in lieu of our banquet. And it's going to be, you know, in that great big room. So we imagine 45 to 50 people in that huge facility. And so, of course, we'll maintain social distance and be safe. And I understand that many people aren't comfortable around groups yet, but I just wanted to let you know that we were doing it and invite you to that.
Okay, appreciate it. Any other comments?
This is for Laura. Laura, on those relocation guides, where are they going to be located at?
So that evening, of course, we'll give out to all the businesses that are present there. We are going to work with realtors to get those out. I'm also working with like HR departments so that the hospital and all the other big companies to get them to their HR departments when they're doing hiring and people need to relocate here. And realtors will, of course, we'll hit a couple of the interstate visitor centers, but I'm not having 10,000 printed like the regular Ayden magazine. We're only getting 3,000 printed this time. So we're going to be very strategic of where we put these two people who may be considering moving to Ayden, especially the developers who are building these new neighborhoods. Of course, all of them will get some to hand out their potential people.
Do we have any of those? Remember at one time we have some welcome packets. Are we doing those anymore?
We have not done those in a while, and we are working on revitalizing that program.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay, appreciate it. Any other thing, Laura?
I'm done.
All right,
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
You did a great presentation. Appreciate you and Ayden Chambers and great things you're doing for our community. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
The next item is the consent agenda. What we have there is the minutes from the June 8, 2020 board meeting. And then we have a resolution, financing agreement for the new garbage truck and bucket truck.
The only thing, Mr. Mayor, is Commissioner Langley caught a typo of mine, and the resolution on the garbage truck, the headline of the title at the top says garbage truck. In the body under whereas it says bucket truck. So we'll make that change to read garbage and garbage.
Okay, good catch, Commissioner Langley. Anything else?
The bucket truck, which department is that for?
Excuse me, sir?
The bucket truck, which department is that for?
Oh, that's the electric department. It's a bucket truck for the electric department.
Okay. How many other bucket trucks do we have?
Keith, you on the line?
Yes, sir. It'll be 6 because we just sold the oldest one that we have, so we have 6 in all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
The motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Any discussion? Vote on the motion. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
Commissioner Langley.
Yes.
Commissioner Goff.
Yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The next item is action item. Is Loose River Basin Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan update. Mr. Manager.
Yes, that's going to be done by our Stephen Smith, our planning director.
Yeah, good evening. You do have a resolution for adoption on the 2019 Loose Basin Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. As you'll recall, I think we've been doing mitigation planning in North Carolina since probably about 1999. And the biggest issue here is these are required that each municipality or county adopt a mitigation plan or update every 5 years in order to be available or eligible for FEMA disaster funding. Heaven forbid if we do, have a disaster in the community with an adopted plan, you are eligible for those types of fundings. We worked on this update along with the county, as well as Greene, Jones, Lenoir, and Wayne counties. This was a huge plan. Years when we first started, it was individuals, then it went to counties, and now it's regional. But there are some in your packet. I did include some strategies and things that we'll be looking to do again over the next 5 years in coordination with Pitt County. But again, the biggest thing here is just to get the adoption resolution done so we can submit that to FEMA. And then that way we'll remain eligible for federal disaster funding for the next 5 years. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions to the planners, Smith? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem,
Second.
second by Commissioner Langley. Any discussion? Voting, Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Commissioner Langley,
Yes.
Commissioner Goff, Commissioner Ross,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is to authorize implementation of plant at home empty parcel utilization program. Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. The board last month approved the concept of this particular, actually approved the concept and moving forward with starting towards implementation of this plan that was brought to us by the Mayor Pro Tem. And our goal this month was to make sure that the tenants in the program were ones that had been reviewed, particularly been reviewed by the town attorney. There were basically two items that were changed from last month. First of all, the original one had applicants' revenue may not exceed 30% of income median determined by state annually. And it was 20%. And so the town attorney is recommending that that we go to 30%, which actually will provide us with a little more spread out there in terms of people being interested in the program. And the next one is, and I'm going to turn that over to you, Scott, if you don't mind, explain the piece about selling it at market price.
Yeah, so from my review, it seems like we're not allowed to just do a blanket reduction the way that was proposed. From what I've kind of researched and found, it seems like it needs to be that we demonstrate that there's a prevalent need there, and basically the new verbiage is just designed for us to be able to do what we're trying to do, and I think Commissioner Mewburn's trying to do, which is, give people that are low, moderate kind of income qualifying people the option to have the property, but it makes sure that we're in accordance with North Carolina law, because that can change depending on the circumstance. So like if there's a bunch of available housing that could qualify as, we're not allowed to offer it the same way. So basically I just changed the verbiage to make it more applicable. But it's trying to balance out 4 or 5 different kind of statutory guidelines for it, and it is pretty complex. So I think that protects us, and it allows us to kind of change if there's anything in the future. And that 20 to 30 change is just the 30% median income is kind of the accepted one that's used throughout the state. And the School of Government advised that was kind of more practical, and it would be easier for us to find available people to qualify. So those were the reasons for the 2 changes. But overall, I think the message of it and what we're trying to do is great, and I think that should be good. That's kind of where we're at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I appreciate your perspective, Mr. Attorney. I don't agree with anything you said. I'm just keeping it real with you. I've combed through this thing. I've tried to find the spirit of what may be behind this, but certainly it's not the spirit of the program. The program is really designed, Scott, for the working poor, and that's why it was put together the way it was. I understand everything you just said, and don't think I don't just because I didn't respond. 20% is the way that we should go with this program. Again, it's for the working poor, not just the poor, but the working poor. And the town cannot lose. The town is benefiting. And I feel like I'm being dragged through the mud for no reason at all, other than try to give people a leg up in our town to improve our town. I clearly understand all your language, believe it or not. And 20% is the way it should be. And if we need to tweet it as we proceed with that, excuse me? If we need to tweet the program as we move it forward, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's a tremendous program. I think our town can really be put on the map. We have all these other homes going up. Those are wonderful things for our town. This right here, you can just blend the whole package together, man, and 30% is taking it out of the spirit of the program.
Well, again, I don't have any objection or thoughts on what it should be really either. I'm just going off of what the proposal was from the School of Government as far as what they thought was best. But I will say, offering it at the initial price that we discussed, as opposed to the new verbiage, I don't think we can legally do that. And that was my main concern. So when we're switching the verbiage for it to be qualifying individuals will be offered below market price parcel prices based on the availability of comparable housing consistent with North Carolina law. I think that's how it has to be. I think the original one, I don't think we're allowed to do because it qualifies as an expenditure under North Carolina law. And that's just my take. I mean, it's the board's decision, but I think if you want to switch the 20 to, the 30% proposal to 20 as you initially had it, I think that's fine. And that meets with what you're trying to do. But I think that other change has to be done.
Yeah, and I don't even consider what you deem as being an expenditure. The perpetual revenues from this program, Scott, will tremendously outweigh what little bit of expenditures are up front, man.
It's not my opinion though. I'm just telling you what it's taken directly from the School of Government, and it says a conveyance of property for less than fair market value is equivalent to an expenditure for the benefit of the recipient entity. And there's constitutional considerations that are at play there, and it has nothing to do with me or my interpretation.
Okay, I understand that, but I want to know the constitutional pieces that you bring up, and Mr. Mulligan brought up. To me, my bottom line is that's a lot of that has to do with his interpretation. And I mean, I respect them for who he say he is and who people say he is. This program is simple. It's not complicated. I don't understand why I'm being dragged through the mud for. Put it to you like that, plain and simple.
If I'm giving any impression of dragging you through the mud, I admire the program and in no way think anything negative of it. My job is to review what information's out there and to try to protect the town in any respective liability. And my proposal would be, obviously it's the board's call. The fair market value price is the way I would word it, but again, it's the board's decision.
Yeah, look, if 20% will be against the law, then I need to see that in writing, and nobody has shown me that.
The 20 to 30%, if we're talking about the income level, is fine. I don't think that's illegal. It's just okay. The parcels for 20%, of what the fair market value would be. I don't think we can do that, which was the initial proposal. Does that make sense?
Okay, but that's not in black and white. I'm good with it if that's a law. If that's not the law, I'm not good with it.
Okay, well, I think that's the law in how it's been interpreted by the courts previously. And again, could a judge view it differently? And is that a lot of times is this interpretation of the law by people that, do it? Yes, for sure. I can't say that if any of this was challenged in court, a judge would decide it a certain way. All I can tell you is what's being advised by the people that are experts in this. Because I'm not an expert in the real property constitutional transactions and how that's, determined by each judge.
I understand and I respect what you're saying, but I'm saying I'm not the type of guy where you can just say, well, this is that, because I want, if it's the law, I want to abide by the law. If it's not the law, I don't want the law placed on my back and the people's back who's trying to get up. I don't want that. I don't deal that way, Scott.
Well, again,
if it's the law, you bring me what the law says, I'm with it.
Well, all I can tell you is that what my view as your town attorney would be is the initial proposal, especially that one thing offering the parcels at 20% of their fair market value, I do not think would be legally allowed. And I think that would open the town up to liability.
But you're saying you think 30 would be legally allowed?
No, again, you're talking about the income levels. I don't have a problem with the income levels. If you want to make it 20, that's fine. What they were advising and what the norm is 30. But if you think 20 is more appropriate, that's fine. The one that I'm saying,
did they show you that in writing? I want to see if 30 is the only thing I'm saying, Scott. If 30 is the norm, I want to see the norm in writing. I want to see things in writing. I don't feel like I'm not going to be jerked around on it. Make a long story short.
Jerk around, Commissioner. What I'm trying to tell you is the 30%. The 20% income level that you want, I think is fine. I think it's going to have some problematic impact if you're trying to accomplish what you're trying to do. But I think that works and it's legal. What I'm saying you can't do is offer the parcels for 20% of what they're worth.
But you can do it for 30. Is that what you're saying also?
It's confusing two separate things. The 20 to 30 change is the income level of the potential.
Scott, I'm clear on that.
Yeah, and that's fine. But
I'm clear on that. I'm totally clear on that.
Sorry. Well, your initial proposal though also had, you're gonna offer these parcels at 20% of what they were worth. You remember that part?
Correct? Of course I remember. Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Well, you sound like you're getting disrespectful. You're asking me, do I remember that? Of course I remember, Scott. I wrote it.
Okay, well, you just keep saying the 20 to 30 change, and it's a different thing. It's a different topic with it. So, again,
So
the way the program has already passed. Okay, all of this backflush stuff is unnecessary. It's uncalled for. But then again, this is Ayden. But I'm not going to put up with it that way. That's the bottom line.
My sincere.
And I feel I'm getting jerked around, Scott.
Well, again, my sincere.
So, if I can jump in, if you don't mind. There's two. It's to me, it's two different things. It's two things that we're talking about.
I know it's two different things, Mr. Mayor. I know it's two different things. What it is, the 20%, I don't see anything wrong with offering the property for 20%. If that's not correct, give me the law in black and white, whereas we can't do it.
If you'd like me to look up and provide you the blog and the statutes, and there is a little excerpt from the blog in your paperwork that says that it has to be related to the availability of housing in the area. That's what I'm going off of. So like
yeah, you're also giving me information from the blog, but the information from the blog is the blogger's interpretation. I want to know what the law says, whether we can do it or we can't do it. We can sell the land for 20. We're not talking homes here. We're only talking partial.
You can do whatever you want as a board. It's just a matter of, does it open you up to liability?
I understand that too, Scott.
Well, that's my only take on it. And again, sincerest apologies if I'm in any way
coming off. You're telling me the norm is 30% to sell it for 30%. That's the norm.
No,
I want to see that.
I'm not in any way saying that the norm is to sell the parcel values for 30% of what they're worth. There's no norm as far as how much to offer those properties worth that I know of. What I was saying is the norm is for 30%, the income level. That other conversation about shifting it from 20% over the gross income status to 30. What that school of government was saying with that is that would open you up to more applicants and it would make it easier for them to get loans from banks and things like that. But again, I think you can do that if you want to make it 20 and try to have it just available to lower income working poor.
That's the spirit of the program.
There's no issue with
the spirit of the program, man.
Again, there's nothing wrong with that provision. I don't, if y'all want to keep that 20, that's fine. The only one that I say is a problem is offering the parcels for 20% of what they're worth, which is the cost of the parcels that you're trying to offer.
Yeah, but you're not telling me whether that's law or not. You're giving me your interpretation of whatever you heard. That's basically what you're doing.
No, I mean, it's my interpretation of reading the case law and reading the statutes and reading the blogs, which is a bunch of different things.
I want, as a commissioner, I want to see that in black and white. It's simple.
I can gladly provide you everything I have and try to read through it. That's all I have. But again, an excerpt of some of what I have is in your paperwork. But it's not, they're not going to have, there's not a statute that says you can't offer it for 30%. It's more of, it's unconstitutional for the government to give properties less than fair market value if that need is not demonstrated. And what I'm saying.
So a lot of good conversation. And so what we need to do is probably have a follow up on this, Scott, to bring information that Mayor Pro Tem wants. I think, the Mayor Pro Tem is has the right, his heart's in the right place, trying to help people that we can help in regards to that. However, we have to understand that I have to understand sometimes that we represent the citizens of Ayden. And so the law or the attorney has to make sure that we're within the liability of the town and represent the citizens in that regards. And so I would ask Scott to bring that back. If you can, just bring some information that help educate our team. Do you think it's appropriate?
Yeah, and I'll be to scan and email everything that I've found and collected to every one of you commissioners, just so you can look at it for your information.
Yeah, and because we do want, and I think the Mayor Pro Tem is agreement to do things that was legal. He said that, and we won't do what's right. I think, the spirit of what he's offered is great. And I think that's something that we need to do. And so we need to make sure that we all on the same page in regards to that.
Just so we're clear again, I think almost every aspect of the program is fine. It wouldn't be any problems at all. The only concern is when the government is selling property, there's usually a specific process that has to be done, and there usually is a need. And I'm just trying to make sure we're checking all the X's and stuff.
And I appreciate that. The only thing I want is what you're saying. I want to see it in black and white. Boom. Simple. I'm not a complicated man.
And I tell you, Scott, I think it is your job on behalf of the board to bring us all the legalities that may be out there. And we know that you are willing, and we know that you would like to see this program, no doubt, and you've been very supportive of town. However, it is your job to bring us all aspect of legalities and so that. And we want to make sure you can freely say that.
Yeah, I never, it's not normal for me to bring like, cases and stuff and say, hey, read these and read this interpretation. Normally that's not done, but I'll be happy to do that. I'm sorry that it wasn't.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that's something we shouldn't get involved in. That's what we pay you for. And that is your job. You're a professional. And if I got to go back, start looking behind you in case studies, then we just need an attorney, which I don't think we need. Don't get me wrong, but you're exactly right. You're a professional and you got license to practice law, and I don't. So you should know more about law than I do. And so we have to trust what you say. I think this instant, just give more education. I don't know if you need case law, but just give more information because the mayor pro tem is asking it. It's dear to his heart. So it's something he's compassionate about. And I admire that. And so we've got to make sure that he's well adapted to it. I think it's a good program that he brought in here. But I think we just need a little more education and we'll be fine. If that's agreeable with the board, we'll bring it back next month.
Let me say this, Mr. Mayor. I'm not trying to be an attorney, Scott, or anything like that. Far from it, man. And I don't want you thinking that. The only thing I want to see some things in black and white, because when I read all of this right here, it's a lot of ambiguous stuff here that doesn't even need to be here. Bring me the meat of what you're saying so that myself and the other commissioners can take a good look at it. And after we do that, whatever the law says, boom, we go with it. That's all.
That was an email chain that I sent to Steve, giving him my communication with the School of Government. I didn't know that was going to be included in your packets. That wasn't prepared to present to you guys or anything. That was just my take, emailing him back about what I thought of this proposal.
Let me ask you this. How soon do you think you can get the information back to us?
I have court, I think, all morning, but I think right after that, I should be able to get everything I have to you guys.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just send through the manager and we'll process accordingly, and then we'll come back and bring this back. So
can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Everything that Mayor Pro Tem said, I think if we can get, kind of, because I think what it is he kind of wants to move it forward. So what I'd like to see, my opinion, I agree with the Mayor Pro Tem, is that 30% change to 20% on medium income. And then I know that anything below a certain percentage or anything that's given as a partial is considered a gift. So I guess from the attorney, what we need to find out is what's the least amount that the town of Ayden can sell a partial for that's considered in the current condition that the parcel is in, not just a general parcel. We're talking about vacant parcels that the town actually owns. What's the least by law that we can offer those to build homes on?
And what I'm saying is, it seems to be from the law, from what I've read, that it's determined based on the need of that area, which can change. And so I know that's not a firm answer, and I know that's not the answer you guys want, but that's information I'm basing off of, and that's all I got. So like, I can give you what I have, but it just seems like if there's available housing in the area that meets the requirement of low income, that kind of stuff, and then we're given the property for a different value, that's when we get into trouble.
I see.
That's all I'm, it's a complex thing. I mean, it's several statutes, it's a bunch of case law. And I mean, there's different cities and towns that have tried approaches like this. But the question is, when does that change and when does it become illegal? And it's not necessarily very clear. And so as an attorney, I tend to err on the side of not exposing us to extra liability, which, it's a matter of preference and it's up to the board ultimately. But you guys, everything I got, and then you guys can just make the most informed decision you can.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Do we need a motion to table this, Mr. Manager?
If if the board would like to do that, yes, sir, and then we can bring something back. That would be fine.
I'd like to make a motion to
Motion
table.
by Mayor, and second by Mayor Pro Tem. Who's seconded by?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Langley. Any discussion? Vote on the motion. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Commissioner Langley,
Yes.
Commissioner Goff,
Yes.
Commissioner Ross,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll bring it back. Next item is consider speed bumps on Garrish Street, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. The Mayor Pro Tem told me about the residents on that one block of Garrish Street. You have a map that I gave you. It's between Joyner and High that there is that they said that people are speeding. They come down High. They turn down Garrish and they speed around till they get back into the housing authority. It's a fairly short block, so one set of speed humps in the middle of that block with proper signage, I think would serve well to help slow people down going through there. The board knows that on your traffic calming policy that the board has a discretion to place speed humps. I would like to also point out that right around the block on Barwick, we put 2 sets there. So it probably stands to reason that maybe somebody, now that they can't go down Barwick, they're using Garrish to go around. So I think it would probably be a good place to put a set of speed humps.
Any discussion? What's the pleasure?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Commissioner Goff. Any discussion? Vote on the motion. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Commissioner Langley,
Yes.
Commissioner Goff,
Yes.
Commissioner Ross,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Motion did carry. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, sir.
The next is information items. Mr. Manager, staff department reports. You'd like to start with you?
Yes, sir. I don't have anything to add. I had an opportunity to introduce Bonnie at the beginning of the meeting, and staff's online for any questions that the board members might have.
Any questions from the board members?
I have one at least.
Go ahead, Commissioner Goff.
The Veterans Memorial that was demolished, and is that ever going to be replaced?
We're working on, yes, ma'am, we're working on trying to get it replaced. And I don't have a timeline tonight, but I'll get one.
Okay, when I go by there, it's obviously missing, and I think it's very important for our veterans to have that
Yes,
honor. And I hadn't heard, so that's why.
I'll get you a timeline, but we are going to replace it and repair it.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, this is for Steve, the manager. When they do repair the Veterans Memorial, is it possible we can get a camera over in that area?
Yes, sir. That's what we had planned to do, is to get a camera to put in there to keep an eye on it, because this is the second time it's happened in like 18 months.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not only is the camera just for that, but that park itself, we have a lot of youthful activities out there, and I've heard some bad stuff about some of the things that happen out there. Whenever they open back up, I suspect that some of the same things are going to be happening. So I'm really all for having a camera to monitor that area.
The chief's online, he's heard that, so we'll get together and talk about putting cameras there.
Okay.
Anyone else? Comments, questions? Nicole, Steve Tripp, I'm gonna ask you a question about the IGA store. What's the plans to get that renovated, Mr. Manager?
Nicole?
Yes. So, hello, everyone. So I have been trying to get 3 bids for the roof. So the first step in it is to just stop it right now from leaking inside the store. So we can kind of go from there, because I don't want the water to be causing more damage. I've been trying to get 3 bids. There's a company here that's local that was supposed to return their bid some time ago and has failed to do so. So now I'm having to go back out for a 3rd bid to get a good comparison price on that to get that roof replaced. We do have an architect that the Housing Authority has. His name is Lou DeTurk from LDA Architect, and he's been our architect on several projects. So he's given me his final numbers to put to be the architect on record for that location. So the first step we're trying to do is just to get accomplished is just to get a good roof on it so that we're not continuing to take on water, because it does have a leaking roof, which we knew at purchase. But unfortunately, I don't know why I have not been able to get the 3rd bid back from the gentleman, but at this point I've decided to move on.
Okay, good. Appreciate you handling it.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have another question for our town manager, and it may be already, you may already know about it, but were you aware that the Whitehurst Bank building, there's debris falling through that window again?
No, I wasn't. We'll go back. They came and repaired it, but I'll go back out and look at it.
Yeah, I drove by there this afternoon, late this afternoon, and that's pushed back out, and it looks like there's stuff falling out of the.
Okay. We'll get with the property owner and get that fixed right away.
It may just happen, and that's why you don't know about it, but I did want to mention it.
Okay, we'll take care of it.
Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Where are we at, Mr. Manager, as far as Quilt Lizzie goes? Exactly where we're at with that whole thing.
I talked with Susan Harris on the phone, or she called me last week. She was shooting to be open for Labor Day weekend, but she's not going to make the Labor Day weekend, but it's still going on very well. She is planning to be open this fall. They're underway inside. They're working at it, and she's really chafing at the bit to get it completed. But they're in there every day. They were in there today with their full crew working. So it'll be this fall when they will be finished and open the building. But it's still underway. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments from our commissioners or questions to our staff members?
Mr. Mayor, I think what I'll do is if it's all right with the board, I'll invite Susan to come to our August meeting and give everybody an update.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Okay, with that said, we're going to go on to board member comments. Start with the Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I would just like for the manager to get whatever the attorney has to submit to him tomorrow. Please do give me a call. The sooner the better. There's a lot of people looking at this program, and they felt that we could, so-called close the deal tonight, but being we didn't. I would like to have that information. It would help me, and it would help those that's seeking some information.
I'll call you. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
One more thing. I think you mentioned it, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry about Wayne Harris. Great guy, did a lot for the town. Wonderful person. I told someone the other day, Wayne was at our last physical meeting we had, and he kind of sat up front there a little bit. And I think whatever went down with the club thing, I think that he had gotten over that or whatever, because he had the old Wayne expression on his face that we used to have for one another. So it's we lost a great guy, and I'm sorry about that. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Commissioner Langley.
Just appreciate everybody being here. I wish we could all be in that upstairs room over there communicating, but I guess this is our here and now. And I hope everybody has a great week and enjoy your summer.
Thank you, Commissioner Langley. Commissioner Goff.
Just want to thank everybody, not only who's on the Zoom meeting, and like Commissioner Langley said, I miss every one of you being in, person, because when I see all your faces, it's like, you know, it's been a long time since we've been together. Also want to give kudos to all of our town staff. I know they're working very hard in a very difficult situation. And, you know, our arts and recs and our library and all the people, you know, that are out trying to look after and take care of our town, our police department, and numerous others that I can't recall, but, you know, I want to say thank you to all of you. And appreciate all the board members too. I think we all work well together. Appreciate the opportunity for us to be together. So have a good evening and I'll see you next month.
Thank you, Commissioner Goff. Commissioner Ross?
Yes, condolences to the Wayne Harris family. Also, he did do a lot for the town. And as always, appreciate everyone, all the hard work that the employees do, and just appreciate everyone and thank everyone for being here, and everybody be safe.
Thank you, Commissioner Ross. Commissioner Davis?
I would like to welcome Bonnie aboard and hope she enjoys her stay while she's here. Also, I would like to send condolences to the Wayne Harris family. Piggybacking on what Commissioner Muben said, he was really a fine guy. You know, it just goes to show you, you know, you could be vibrant and alive at 1 minute and next minute you're gone. Life is just that short. So I think that's why we need to try to get along with each other while we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. And won't say congratulations to you on your retirement, 50 years. That is tremendous for anyone to be in one field, especially the education realm and coaching, where you touch many children a many times. And Commissioner Muber, Mayor Pro Tem Muber and myself can say that we were blessed having you as a coach. We grew up, part was on your bad side at the time because you were young, we were young, we're trying to figure it out. We might give you a little bit of wisdom. So we think we might added something to that value. But I want to say congratulations to you on that recognition. That is tremendous recognition, 50 years of teaching our kids and coaching our kids.
I really appreciate it. I couldn't have done it without students like y'all.
Well, we appreciate that. I don't know about us, but we appreciate it. I do want to say thank you to Wayne Harris and remember him, his condolences of his family. Wayne was a part of our planning board for a long time. I think he served a total of 10.5 years. He served from April of 2004 to May 2013. During that reign, he served as vice chair of 2005. Then he was elected chair of July 2010. Then elected vice chair again in January 2012. He served starting January 2019 to present, where he did serve as chair. He was our current chair at the time. He brought a lot of passion and he brought a lot of spirit to the town of Ayden. He loved his family, he loved his church, but he also loved the town of Ayden, and he gave so much to the town of Ayden. Over the tenure that he has been here, can you imagine 2004 to 2013 was 9 years, then he came back 2012, 2019. It's a fact how much the town has grown since that period of time. And you look around where we were then and where we are today, it's a different town and a different footprint and different look. And as you can remember, one of his last actions was as chair of the planning board was all those subdivisions that we approved over close to 600-700 homes. He was part of that initiative and was part of that leadership and providing that to the town of Ayden. He's going to be surely missed. He was a true Aydenite and he loved Ayden dearly. And so we give our condolences to his family. And one last thing that I do want to talk about, which is the virus. I know that people have looked at it different ways and have different ways and different opinions of what about life during the virus and how should it look like. And as a healthcare professional, I tell you, it's something you need to take serious. And I firmly believe it. I think there's people who have been in our country, as you see, the numbers going up and the number of deaths are going up. The virus is still alive and active. And so the governor came out. I mean, this not to me being a Democrat, Republican, or whatever. That is not it. What it's about is the health of the community, and that's one of our duties: is provide safety and health of the community, to be role models in providing that care or providing that look to give the community what we think should be in a safe manner. And one thing that the government did institute is wearing masks in public. If you cannot social distance, you need to wear the mask. And I have seen the mask utilization in our community has gone up, but it's not where it needs to be. That is my opinion. The mask to me is something that really may protect you, part will not as much, but the mask will protect someone who has the virus to someone else. And there is people who do have a virus that are asymptomatic. In other words, they don't have any symptom of the disease, and they walk around like they are normal. But they do have the virus. And so the question there is, that is the type of person that can spread the virus to other people so they may get it. And then you spread the virus to people that may be less receptacle or may have comorbidities or sickness in which they cannot handle it like maybe a healthy person can. And I think that scientific data will show you that. And so to me, the mask is about respecting other people. I wear the mask for my respect of the community. When I'm in public, I'm in a grocery store, or I'm in the public arena or in a business, or to me, I think is when I wear a mask, I'm telling the person who's looking at me that I respect you. And if we all were getting a habit to wear the mask, it will help bring down the rate of people getting the disease or the virus. And it concerns me that when I walk in our community that certain percentage of our citizens are not wearing masks. And it's not about rights. It is about rights, but it's not about rights. It's about protecting other people. It is scientific. The data's out there. I mean, no one can argue with the data. No one can argue with the healthcare officials or the experts. So I'll ask, as a citizen of Ayden, as the mayor of your town, to please honor that request from our governor. That we in public, let's wear a mask, especially when we cannot social distance. And to me, when you wear the mask, you're saying to the person who's looking at you that I care about you. That's what you're doing. So that is my bits on it. I would encourage all citizens to do that. So I'll end with this. I would hate to know that I did something that would cause someone a health issue by not doing something I can prevent from that happening. And that's what you can do. And so again, thank you for those who do wear it. I appreciate it. I think that's the right thing to do for protecting the people of our community and our town. And I encourage those who has not been doing it to please do it. So I want to thank you for that in that regards. And I do too want to recognize Bonnie, and glad to have her here. So we'll have opportunity to move on forward. And do want to say thank you to all our commissioners. Working together through a very stressful time in a Zoom meeting is very tough to have conversation. And that missing each other personally is very also tough. And I hope that we can soon get together. So that I do hope. So with that said, is there any other comments? We'll need a motion to go closed session. The attorney will get us in that direction. So Mr. Attorney.
This time we'll